Good morning and welcome to an echo to start with. Sorry about that, folks. Hopefully it woke you up. We weren't live on Twitch for a second there, but we are now. So we're back on Twitch. We're on Twitter, of course. This is where you may be watching. We should be on Twitch as well, fingers crossed. If not, we will upload it a little bit later on for you. So today's show, Jason, what have we got? We've got the top of your head, my friend. There we go. He's back. What a glorious shirt, may I add.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, look at that. That's a sloth riding a T-Rex with lasers. I mean, you can't get any better than that. That's just it has to happen.
That's open to debate later on. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the channel for that. So today's show, it's a little bit weird, really. So we're doing reviews of the keynotes the day before. Nothing really happened in yesterday's infrastructure keynote. I don't know if some announcements got pulled, but it was a very, very light, markety kind of keynote. Yeah. We're going to cover that off later, but we're going to kick off with a couple of things. I want to start off by mentioning our charity push again. I want to get that out early, so you've got plenty of time. I'm going to keep that up on the screen for a little bit. I'm also going to drop out the link to Twitter there, so that should be on my Twitter feed now. So yeah, what we wanted to do was just basically come on and say, CAMS, it's Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. What they're doing is making sure that everybody gets a gift this Christmas. So let people know they're not forgot about when they're in wards and stuff like that. It's a really, really good cause. We've smashed our target already, but that doesn't mean don't give. Please do keep giving. Every penny we give to this helps. It all goes direct to CAMS. They buy more gifts. More people have a smile on their face at Christmas. I mean, we're a tech community. A lot of us, yes, have been affected by COVID, but a lot of us are in a very, very good position to reach out and help community. That's what we're all about. That's why Community Summit Online is here. That's why Jason and I like getting involved in community. It's not about us. Well, so please do go to that URL and give generously. Right, on to the very first section. You like that spinny one, don't you?
Yeah. I think it's all the childhood memories of waking up and going downstairs at 8 o'clock in the morning and going, watch Batman! Yay! It's like, oh, it's on. So yeah,
fantastic.
Happy memories.
So let's go to the blogs for the only real announcements that happened. Right, in the blogs. So Jason, I'm looking for your visual signs of whether you think it's good or not. I will give an audio signal as well, so it actually works on the podcast.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm going to kick off.
Yeah.
Custom routing in Global Accelerator. So this is about, before when you went to Global Accelerating, it was all to do with load balancing. So traffic would enter via one of the local POPs, and it would be routed to whichever cluster was the best for you. What there wasn't there was any awareness of that traffic coming in. So if you take the gaming industry, for example, one of the things you can do with this custom routing is you've got multiple players coming in who want to be playing locally on a map in a game. You can send them to the same backend infrastructure rather than load balancing to their geographic regions and then transferring the traffic between those two servers. So it's a way of grouping everything together. One really, really cool usage I saw, I don't know if anyone's tried Jitsi. It's an open source video conferencing platform, very like Google Meet. It's something that David, one of our colleagues, put me onto quite early on in the pandemic when I was looking for solutions for meetups. Awesome bit of software. There's a company who do a paid for version of it called 8x8. They're one of the reference customers on it. So I found it super interesting. But Jason, your thoughts, sir? Oh, it's nice. There we go. Fantastic. So can you think of any good uses for this, Jason? Have you got any customers that would benefit from this?
Excuse the building noise. The kitchen's being demolished at the same time. Yeah, I think anything that simplifies that whole side of it is going to make things easier for customers and just get it right first time and reducing those costs as well. So yeah, hence the nice.
Yeah, I think the not having to transfer huge amounts of data between different servers to keep game sessions in sync is kind of a cool use case that they gave to us. I think we'll all be able to see the benefit of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, next announcement, Jason. This is EMR Studio. So this is yet again, I want to go studio. I'm going back to like 80s pop. I was like in single digits in the 80s, Jason. I know it's on teen memories for you, but yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to have a cat on it.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the whole EMR Studio, very little information about it. It's in preview apparently. I haven't tried it. I haven't had a chance, but I'm assuming it's going to be very, very similar to what they've done for SageMaker Studio, which is pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, that would make sense. Recycle some of the bits that you've got in there for the IDE anyway.
SageMaker Studio, in my mind, blows Cloud9 out the water. I know it's for one specific job, where with Cloud9 you can do multiple things.
Yeah.
Just the whole feel and look and integration of it makes sense to be in the cloud. I'd have liked Cloud9 to be a downloadable local container you can run and connect into AWS rather than racking a charge up. I think that'd have been more developer obsessed and customer obsessed, to be honest. Right, I'm just going to move my desk around because I found I'm looking down quite a lot, and nobody wants to see my bolding patch. Come on. So, what's your view of that one, Jason? Oh, he's trying to find the right paperwork here. Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be using that sound effect a lot, so that's good.
Well, I think I'm basing it on what very little information is out there. If they reuse that IDE and repurpose it, I think it'll be really nice. People will be familiar with it. It sort of helps that adoption side of it. If it's as Amazon are, the way they sort of silo everything out and separate these teams up, then it could be a whole new interface and start again. So it could be something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what will make me look at this screen a lot more and look at you folks on the stream. Do get in touch and messages on here. So one of the next things on here, running EMR Apache Spark jobs on EKS. I think this is a very, very nice tie-in. I'm going to give it a nice for myself as well, to be honest. So this is the ability to take your EMR jobs and run them as containers on your EKS cluster. So really tight integration between those two products there. It's awesome because it means you get real good use of density on those EC2 instances that are running your EKS worker nodes. So Jason, love it. There we go. Fantastic. Right. I'm going to go into the first of many Redshift announcements. So remember, all of these are from the blogs and not from the keynote. We'll get onto the keynote a little bit later. So Redshift now supports native JSON input. We've got our very own malformed Jason, who's next to me at the moment. But yeah, native JSON support for Redshift. I don't really know what to make of that. Jason, what's your thoughts?
I printed out a whole new card for this very thing right now because it's like.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I've not got a sound effect for that. So
I know. Hey.
Yeah. So for those of you on the podcast, that's a meh. Yeah, it's nice. Why wasn't it there earlier? Start on. People have now worked around that limitation. Are they going to re-implement things to take advantage of that? I don't really know.
I think it'd be great for customers just starting. Existing customers already work around it. Yeah, nice improvement, iteration. Meh. So.
Yeah. Right, another Redshift one. Redshift Auto Table Optimization. God, I'm going to need more coffee. Sounds nice. Anything that automatically optimizes things, I'm in for that. Hello, Liz. In the background.
We go mute quick.
So I'm going to give that one I like that. Any architect, any systems admin, any DBA, in my opinion, should always be working to automate themselves out of a job.
Yeah.
And I say that with very, very much tongue in cheek. The more you automate stuff, the more time it frees you up to advance your product, innovate in that space, do something more fun, play with the shiny toys, put it however you want. It's really, really cool to look at and come in.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, none of us like being that mechanical Turk. You know, we want to automate these things. You know, if you're doing it more than once, go and write a script and so on and keep going from there.
It's the whole reason for using RDS, for example, over your own database. Backups are automated, minor upgrades are automated. Hey, no headache for me. Hey, I've got faith. I've got faith my databases are going to restore when I come to them, not that dreaded moment of, oh, sugar, everything's crashed. I'm doing very well not to swear. Oh, sugar, everything's crashed. And I don't know. I'm not testing my database back up because I don't have time to do it every day.
Yeah, and where's the tape?
Tape? On the same disk. Right. So moving on. Redshift data sharing. This is a way of sharing your data on Redshift with other teams in your organization. Kind of handy, actually. It's a way of segregating things out. It's a bit of a, that's nice. Well, we'll give them credit for that. We'll give them a yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Jason agrees with that. So another one that came along. So when you run Redshift, the data is locked in a particular availability zone. There's now an easier way to migrate that data between availability zones. So I think this is a good, important step. One would expect to see next year some kind of regional replication of this data as well. But you'll be able to move data easily, is the key, between availability zones.
Is there a cost for that?
Probably. There's definitely going to be a data cost. We'll ask Corey Quinn about data costs on Redshift and see if he can find that in a AWS bill. I'm sure he'll have fun looking for it.
Yeah, because if there's no cost for it, there's all sorts of possible use cases.
There'll be a cost for it, I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, I think for me I love it. Potentially, you know, it could be very good.
There we go. A big cheer for that one. Right. Next one. Redshift again. Loads of Redshift updates. It's quite nice. I want to see some other architectural changes in Redshift. Some of them I know about in my head, so I'm going to shut up talking before I go and leak something. But I want to see some other architectural changes in Redshift. Redshift has got great potential to catch up with some of the other systems that are seen as like the golden shining star of other cloud providers on the data platform. Redshift could catch there. There's a little bit of too much of a lock in between instance size and storage at the moment for my liking. I'd like to see that pulled apart at some point, very much like they did with Aurora and the database engine and the storage are separate blocks. And there's a really nice open blog particle about that. So I'd like to see something like that happen in the Redshift domain. And then what else have we got? Partner console integration for Redshift. So this will allow partners to develop applications, search queries, plugins that will appear on the partner console and allow people to integrate. It's nice. It doesn't float my boat. I'm going to give it a yeah. I know you've got a I don't have a sound for that. I'm going to have to get a sound for next week for that. But it's nice because, yet again, if you can buy a partner solution in and it's something you don't have to reinvent inside and maintain and progress every time things update, it takes the workload off you to go and do those shiny things. So that's good. Right. Oh, a new instance type for Redshift. Don't get too excited. We're still on Redshift announcements. This is the R3A XL Plus. XL Plus. I mean, this sounds. It's basically an RA3. It's got managed storage built into it, effectively. So an RA3 XL Plus. We're branching out on the names a little bit there. Somebody got creative in the naming department that day. XL Plus. I like it.
I was on holiday.
Yeah, not a 24 XL whatever. Yeah, nice, more resource. I'm giving it that one for me, not a meh. Yet again, you're using the one I don't have a sound for, Jason. Stop it.
I'll keep using this one. I'll get rid of the meh.
So yeah, it doesn't do it for me, but I mean, it might float some people's boats here. Right, lake formation. Some updates to lake formation. Lake formation is the way of aggregating your data across disparate data sets, putting them all into a data lake, and then you can consume it whichever way you like, whether you're using Glue to extract that data out, do some ETL, whether you're piping it into Redshift, whether you're doing some AI/ML across those data sets by using Athena to lift it out of S3, all those things. Lake formation now's got support for transactions, so as transactional things happen, you can detect that, you can push that into your data lake. There's row level security in this as well, which is pretty cool. So the catalog that the data lake builds up on this, you'll be able to put row level security in on there to say that this IAM user can only access this subset of data, which is quite cool. And there's some acceleration jobs been done as well. I'm not quite sure what's powering that and what's involved in that. One assumes it's an extra plugin, a bit like DAX for DynamoDB, something on top that gets put in there for in-memory caching. I don't know. We'll get more to you on that next time. But do you like that? Oh, loves it. That's good. I know why you love it. It's the security, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, I think, certainly a lot of the customers that we're dealing with and I've dealt with in the past in terms of building SaaS, ISV, whatever it may be, to be able to do that lovely little segmentation to make sure that there can't be any possible crossovers. You're not leaking data to each other's customers. Getting that sort of row level security, absolutely fantastic. So I like that. Plus, I do like the ability to, again, automate something based on a trigger. Something happens, go and do this rather than, oh, we need to update the data again. It's done automatically. Yet again, another piece of automation, and really, really important when it comes to those SaaS providers that have multi-tenanted customers. It just allows you to really segment it, stops all that bad actors or anything else. So for me,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought that was quite interesting for the data sharing. Just got an electric shock off my iPad. That was a bit weird. For lake formation and for the Redshift data sharing, I thought both of those are actually really good for like multi-tenanted design. So I can see a little bit of more support coming for ISVs here, which is we know was a focus of Amazon as well. We both used to work in the ISV team, so we know how important that is to AWS. So you can see some of these features come in to make that easier, so we can consume it as an ISV and deploy on that.
It just stops all those. I'm going to say it, but they feel like dirty hacks. They're not, they're well considered, well architected pieces, but at the end of the day, they still feel a bit dirty and a bit hacky. And it also becomes the purview of the one person that built it.
Someone has to know that magic sauce that goes in between, and with this, that magic sauce is removed. So that's quite nice.
Yep.
I've finished Redshift and lake formation notifications, but I'm still in the blogs, so this is good news. So there is some content for today's show, as you can see. The next one is performance metrics for EC2 network. So this is basically a way of taking extra metrics out, being able to pump it into CloudWatch and graph and see. Love it. Yeah,
that sound is being cut short. Yep.
Oh, let's try again.
Hey, that's better.
I might have double pressed the button, Jason.
Yeah.
We did get up early this morning again, and I'm a little bit jittery on the coffee, to be perfectly honest.
I need more.
So this is EC2 network performance metrics. Quite cool for debugging stuff. If you're thinking you've got a network bottleneck, you used to be able to do this through custom metrics before. But it's yet again making that easier for customers. Why this hasn't been done before is my big question.
I think maybe the pain points that it causes, because you're looking around everything trying to understand. I was doing some testing yesterday with GP3, And it could easily be that, you know, you're not getting the performance out of the disk because you haven't got enough bandwidth for the network in the first place.
And I think that there's an indication in that. So this works with the latest ENA driver, the Elastic Network Adapter driver.
Yeah.
Which obviously needs Nitro. I think there's a Nitro link into that. And we'll talk about Nitro with the keynote stuff, because Nitro was mentioned in that. So there's some nice bits come out there.
Cool.
That came out. So yeah, we like that one. That's good. Transit Gateway got some updates. So first of all, Transit Gateway, it's simplified integration for software-defined WAN providers and the connectivity into Transit Gateway. Oh, I did it again, didn't I? There we go. That's it. So this is if you're using a third-party software-defined wide area network, you can easily integrate this as an ingress point into your Transit Gateway now, which is super cool. Traditionally, some of these have been used for getting around problems such as multicast, but we'll get onto that in a second. But there's other reasons for using these as well. For doing some balancing between different cloud providers is one option to do. Some automatic balancing by a third-party company brings the ingress, sends it to different cloud providers, makes things like that easier. I don't know. We should try and reach out to Weaveworks and say, are you going to look to integrate with this with the WeaveNet stuff? So WeaveNet is a network overlay for Kubernetes. I reckon it could benefit from this maybe, and maybe they're looking at stuff like that, which is quite cool. I'd like to hear if Weaveworks are on here. I know Alexis follows me on Twitter, so if he happens to see my ramblings on here and hasn't tuned out by now, let us know. We'd love to know that. Right, so the next bit, but I've lost my notes. Transit Gateway for IGMP multicast support.
Yes. Yeah. Where's me paper?
I think I love it. Yes, absolutely love it. So, having worked in media before, John, one of our colleagues, Jason, has also worked in that space before. We've done things for the BBC, for Arqiva, for Channel 4, for Disney, Sony Direct. We used to work in that industry, do a lot of this. Multicast was always a sticking point. It used to be super hard to get around it. Some dirty hacks, working things in that really weren't supported and were hard to maintain. So the fact that this, you can just switch it on the Transit Gateway now.
Yeah.
So multicast basically allows lots of people to watch a stream simultaneously without exponentially blowing the bandwidth up that you're using. And that's the beauty of it. And yes, your ISPs have to have support for it and stuff like that. Most do now.
Yeah, I think even smaller scale stuff, though, one of the big problems about multicast is it's broadcasting everything everywhere. So obviously you don't want that running around your network, only to the specific targets that you want. So this dirty overlay network that you had to create before to enable applications that were doing that, even simple things like SQL servers and that sort of thing wanted to use it to push the data out to many nodes at the same time. The fact that it's natively supported now, brilliant.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome. Right. Then we really like that. So next one, Amazon Kendra custom cinnamons. Oh, there's always a word I can't say on this show, isn't there?
Go for undifferentiated heavy lifting again.
No, it's too early. My coffee's gone cold, so it's not going well, Jason. I hope. If it wasn't a pandemic, I'd ask for a hug right now.
Oh, bless your heart. You can have one here. I'll bring one in.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was a glorious up close of your shirt today. Yeah. So I'm actually advertising the other Twitch channel. I'm actually
nice.
TV/AWS.
Brilliant.
That's good. Right, cool. Yeah, for me, this is a bit of a. I'm not really going to use that. Some people will. Kendra being the. Describe it in a few words, Jason. The search.
A simple way to do an enterprise support search using natural language.
Yeah, NLP supported. So next, we're going back into networking type of world here as well. So first of all, let's not get these mixed up. The VPC Reachability Analyzer. I know this made you giggle. We won't go into that on the stream right now. So the reachability analyzer, it's kind of, let's describe it. Anybody who's used Traceroute before, looking for connectivity problems between two different endpoints, this is a visualization with some value-added tools on top. So you pick your two endpoints, you do a trace between the two two systems. I'm guessing it's probably using the Nitro layer on here to do the test rather than having access to your systems.
Ping.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's been injected straight on the ENI rather than having to have access to your systems, because it's just my IAM roles. So I couldn't see how it does that unless it's using this. Let's inject into the ENA. I don't know. Someone might have to answer us. There's people on Twitter. So Matt Wilson knows this things like this really, really well about Nitro and stuff like that. So let's see if we can find him. So as well as doing this checking of end-to-end connectivity Traceroute, it will actually give you a breakdown of what resources you're going through. So you'll be able to see security groups, you'll be able to see route tables, you'll be able to see if it's going across a transit gateway. And it will let you very quickly analyze this. Now, any drawbacks that you've seen so far on this, Jason?
I love it. I'm just worried about the cost. There's simpler ways of doing this. You know, this hasn't been available in the past, so lots and lots of customers have worked out different ways of doing this. It's like 10 cents a check between two things. So that went up very, very quickly. And I couldn't see any information about the frequency. How often does it test? So it's 10 cents per what? Per minute? Per?
Yeah, just per one test.
Yeah, well, it is 10 cents per between two endpoints. But what is the frequency of that? Because if
it's 10 cents a month.
Yeah.
But would you use this thing over a month? I'm not sure you would.
Well, I think as long as you can do some integration automation on the other side of it to say something has happened to the network, it's down.
Here's a remediation. Here's a Lambda that's going to go and fix it.
At the very least, here's a text message saying your network's down, which would be great, you know. So then obviously you can build in your remediation for that as well. Not so sure about the cost. I think enterprises won't care about the cost. It's like, don't care. It's got to stay up.
You've got to bring it down to a bit of time as well, Jason. It's like technically, we look at it and we look at the cost and we look at, well, we could do that with open source tools for free. How much time is that going to take you to implement that, do that, run that, maintain that? And like, if you know what it's like, we get customers all the time come to us and say, hey, how much does this thing cost? No, why isn't this thing working? Sorry. And you dive in and you do the things. You look at VPC routes, you look at security groups, you look at network address control lists. Do all the regular debugging. And when it starts getting a little bit, well, all of those seem sensible, it starts really, really slowing down and it becomes harder to look at things. So example was recently, I had a customer that had a VPN coming in, hitting transit gateway, went to the VPC. They could hit things in one availability zone, but not the other two. And it's like, no, they could hit it in two and not one. So it's odd. Let's check route tables, security groups, network access control. All seem good. And it left a couple of engineers scratching their head. And it was only because I've done this myself with another customer in the past that I knew this. And if you've made a mistake connecting that VPN to the transit gateway and where those endpoints terminate on the transit gateway, if you're not in every availability zone, you can't route to those availability zones. Now, that's outside of logic of normal route tables to me. That's like some magic sauce happening on top. It's like, well, if it goes into 1A, why can't it just use the route tables in the VPC to go to 1B and 1C?
Because the others can.
Yeah.
Because the instances can,
so it's a little bit of, you have to know that to go on top to debug that. So it could save a lot of time in things like that. You see it get black holed at some point and it's going nowhere else. The traffic has just gone into the ether and that's it, it's gone.
I think also with, you know, if you look at the general messaging around account structure and that sort of thing, by creating lots and lots of different accounts to support your workloads, to do all the usual things around, you know, quotas and all that side of it as well. you start to build this relatively complex network very quickly to do relatively simple things, move a packet from A to B. That's it. So I think this would really help in terms of, trying to find those. But again, just worried about the price point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I like it. What about you? I'm gonna give it that. You're going to give it that. Okay, we'll have both for that, just to confuse people on audio stream. We like it and hate it at the same time. We'd like it to be a little bit cheaper, please. But we think it's a great tool, and that with the whole performance metrics is a real good diagnostic tool into networking performance. It's something that other cloud providers, well, one of them at least, has built in already. So it's a really good thing about leveling that playing field there. Okay, next announcement. We've only got 2 left, and then we'll go to a short VT.
Cool.
So next one is Amplify CLI serverless. What do you make of this? Basically, this will, from the Amplify framework, to go and build apps simply without having to go and set the infrastructure up behind it. That's what Amplify makes really, really easy. You can now launch serverless containers using Fargate. So you can have containers. You can do Lambdas from it already, obviously.
Yeah.
This brings Fargate in as well. So I think this was mentioned on the last Pundit session that we did. That bringing together of, Adrian mentioned this, of serverless and containers together, and they're not enemies of each other. That can actually be used for different use cases and different workloads. So bringing that tool chain and integrating it in together, I love that.
Yep.
So for me, that's a Bing. For you, it's a...
I'll give it, but I'd need to research a bit more.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Last one, and then we'll talk about competitions, which is up on the bottom of the screen at the moment. So Amazon QuickSight Elasticsearch. So QuickSight and Elasticsearch integrated together, so you can pull data out of Elasticsearch into Amazon QuickSight for analysis. Obviously, with all the QuickSight announcements like QuickSight Q and that, let's hope the support for natural language searching's in there as well. Tell me what happened here, and it goes and gets the data out of Elasticsearch for you as well. It also brings along some of the features that Elasticsearch offers here. So box plot, heat maps, graphs can be pulled out of Elasticsearch into QuickSight as well, and and field map visuals basically, so you can visualize that data a lot easier. Verdict on that one, Jason? Yes.
Yeah.
I got the right button as well there.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think if it strengthens the position of QuickSight, because there's still a lot of competition out there, and if it strengthens that position so that you can actually start getting some data out of QuickSight without having to use all the out of Elasticsearch without having to use all that extra tooling, putting that tooling in a single place, making things simpler again, and then therefore adding value to QuickSight in the first place. I think it's a good thing.
Awesome. That's great news. Right. So next one on here. I'm gonna just give us a quick ident. Yay! There we go.
Back in the
right. So I just want to quickly mention the competition that we do. We want you to get involved with the show. We want you to win prizes. So to do that, basically ping us on Twitter or use this hashtag #AWSComSum. We'd really like to see a picture of you in the morning with your mug. So show us your mug. Also, for those of you watching from abroad, showing your mug in the UK can also mean your face. Yeah, shows your face and your mug. I'm not going to drink that because the last sip I took was horrible. It was really cool. So yeah. Do tweet us as prizes. So far, we've given away a Kindle Paperwhite waterproof and a Nintendo DS Lite. So you could be the next lucky winner if you just use this hashtag. Help us promote AWS Console Online. This is the thing that we are part of as a breakfast show. Phil, Joe, Dave, organisers of this for many years now. It's a brilliant initiative. It really has its place, especially in COVID times, of bringing community together from all around the globe. I think the initial idea was just to reinvigorate some of the user groups that can't meet at the moment.
Yeah.
Really, this has got such a bigger reach than just the UK, and it's a fantastic effort. So, Phil, if you're watching, thank you very much for all your hard work. Thank you for letting us be involved in this. And love it. We do. And in fact, I'm going to go as far as I think we should have. We should have a keynote clap on that.
Jassy would be proud.
Right, everybody. So I'm just going to move some of the graphics out of the way, because we're going to attempt to play you a video here. Whether it works or not, I don't know. So here we go. I'm just going to bring up here. I'm going to make it a focus. I'm going to move Jason and I's ugly mug out of the way. Actually, I need to bring Jason back in. You're introducing this, Jason.
Oh, yeah. So this is Georgina talking about D&I, diversity and inclusion, and supporting that whole community side of it. So yeah, this was done just a few days ago. Rick, any more details around that?
No, it's just WePow Tech. Awesome. Get behind it. We've pulled this from the pundit section. So if you've been watching and following the other sessions on Community Summit Online, there's another pundit section later today, I think, Jason. Is that correct? Yes, that we need to be on. So yeah, come along, listen to everybody's thoughts about the news and that coming from reInvent. It'd be great to hear. So without further ado, let's go over.
Hello? Hey.
It helps if I switch myself on, doesn't it? Yeah.
So, no audio through.
Just a couple of problems here. Have you got my audio? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Awesome. Sorry about that, folks. we tested that just before we came on air, and it worked. So I don't know what's changed. It's probably me and my lack of coffee. Let's not take away from WePowerTech though. Let's talk about it very, very quickly. So WePowerTech is an initiative from AWS, as I understand. Our pundit is involved in that. She was given a fantastic talk. Basically, it's on the YouTube channel of Consum, so you can get that there. Goes through, tells you about what AWS are trying to do to improve inclusion and diversity within the industry. It's super important that we all get involved on this. If you're not a person who you see in an area that normally gets discriminated against, become an ally. It's 2020, folks. Get on board with this. It's super, super important to help support people. I'm going to speak here as a white male in my mid-40s. I'm not in my mid-40s. I've only just hit 40.
I am. I'm well into my mid-40s.
You're 50, aren't you?
No.
I've had an easy ride. And for most of my career, I didn't realize I was having an easy ride. And we need to start looking outside ourselves and doing some work there. So that's something we desperately all need to look into. Right. Okay. I'm going to go to an ident and hope the sound works on that one.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Jason, welcome back. Keynote time, my friend.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to turn to my notes.
Yeah. Before that, I was really, really, really excited about this keynote. I was so excited. More excited than Jassie's, but not as excited as Rena's coming up. But I was really looking forward to this one. It was like, yes, this is going to be awesome stuff.
Infrastructure. This is our bag, isn't it? We've done infrastructure for many, many years.
Yeah.
I'm going to break it to you now, folks. If you've not watched it, I wouldn't put the time in. It was disappointing, to say the least.
It was odd because there was build up, end.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of customer stories on there, which is always nice to hear how other people are doing things. I do agree. But the substance and the story that was thread through it was kind of weak. It started off strong. I really liked how deep we went on Graviton 2 processors.
Yeah.
So I love, somebody's asking for the MES sign to be held up for the keynote.
No.
Daryl is saying
more like this. What?
So I did like the bit about Graviton 2 and the deep dive about processors. So there's a whole section about threading versus cores. Graviton 2 uses cores rather than threading. That gets away from this simultaneous multi-threaded model, which is a bottleneck really on traditional processors. So processors used to be all about clock speed, then it was all about the cores and how many things you could execute at once there. SMT came in to help speed that up, go through, but it's shared, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Graviton 2 gets away with that. It delivers real-world performance per core.
A lot of it was sort of 101, and especially for anybody that's been following how cloud does the things that it does, why it's important over the last 14 years.
Yeah,
there was nothing new there. It was great for anybody who's never seen cloud or doesn't understand how any of it works and how Amazon do their capabilities.
So here's a new feature. So here's a shout out from Twitch Ganesh. Anybody keen enough to watch the infrastructure keynote already knew the core versus threading thing.
Yeah,
true. Absolutely. It became a little bit of a 101 really. How do I switch those off again?
I don't know. I've been talking there.
Let's just stick to else and cover it up. Yeah. New features, great. Yeah, absolutely. It was the whole thing felt like a little bit of an introduction into infrastructure in AWS. It felt very 100 level.
Yeah,
I did like listening to that because it's always nice just to rehear it told in a slightly different way again. But if you've been into any of the Nitro sessions, if you've been into any of the Graviton 2 sessions, you knew this. you're interested in infrastructure, you wanted something from infrastructure, there's a whole section about how C5s and C6Gs, the Graviton processors versus the Intel processors, compare, about the real world performance, and the fact that for workloads like databases, things that you in your head, when you hear ARM processors and databases, you start thinking, oh, is that right for the job?
Yeah.
The message was very much yes, and here's some data from it. So HammerDB was used on Postgres, and we saw the scale out. When you're scaling out on cores on Intel processors, you get to a point where it goes flat.
Yeah.
Effectively, it almost scales linearly, then goes flat. With the Graviton 2 processor, that scaling it keeps going up. It's
and the energy consumption
linear, not exponential. I don't know why I'm doing a weird hand motion there that looks exponential when it's linear. Yeah, it's linear on there. So that was good.
Not to mention consumption, energy consumption.
Energy consumption as well. Obviously, ARM processors use a lot less energy than, obviously, that's not a good word, is it, Rick? Graviton 2 processors use less power than Intel, so energy consumption was less. Now, this started to see, good segue, by the way.
No worries. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, this started to see the next part of the messaging, which was about sustainability. Now, I'm going to start off with some very, very positive things. I'm hugely passionate in this area. Energy conservation, energy generation, major interest areas of mine. I was part of the Amazon for Climate Action movement, where a few of us left the office and walked out on strike to support the strikes that were happening every Friday that the kids started. We went out to support them and move along with that, joined the climate protests in London and that. So I'm really passionate in this. And this is why I know the story. I'm disappointed that that story is not being told in necessarily the right way or transparent enough to show that somebody does actually care at Amazon for this. So there are lots of people who care. Let's go there. Like, if you work at Amazon, it doesn't automatically put you in you don't care. Lots of people care. Lots of people are doing very hard work behind it, and that came out in some of the things.
Yeah.
Now, the first one was something that we should already know anyway. Efficiency is Amazon's game, right? They're not going to build cloud data centers that perform the same as your enterprise data center. The margins would get too tight in cost. It wouldn't be as cheap to compute as it is. So they're going to make sure that they minimize everything from power consumption, in cooling, in heat loss, and are they going to reuse that heat? Are they going to capture it and reuse it? The water that goes through the data centers. So the report that came out was that even before the Graviton 2 processor was released, which I think we're going to see exponential growth of in 2021, 88% carbon reduction against your enterprise DC on average. That's huge amounts of efficiency more effectively. So you're going to be consuming less of everything if you're in a Amazon data center. Now, how do they achieve this? And this is where I'm going to use a positive again before I get onto my soapbox, Jason. Tell me to get off if I get on this. So on here, 2018, we saw that there was using 1,036 megawatts generated renewable energy for data centers. And this is good. I don't see other cloud providers doing similar projects. They may be, I may be wrong here, but Amazon actually own solar farms, that own wind farms. They recently opened one in Ireland, for example. And they're generating power for their data centers. Now, this is good. Why? Why is this good? It's good because if you just go and buy renewable energy off the grid from other generating companies, you put a pressure on the grid to supply renewables. And then less of that renewable energy is available to you and I as customers at home. So we end up running off of dirty power rather than running off of renewable energy. And the whole effect of that is a net negative. It's not a positive. So by putting this power on, by generating their own, it's good. It's an excellent strategy and well beyond carbon offsetting, which we won't even start on that rant. It's a good thing. So thank you, Amazon, for doing that. I'm really pleased that's the approach you're taking. We just want to see a little bit more transparency around some of these figures that have come out. So 2019, we saw 2,348 megawatts. 2020, 3,348 megawatts generated. Now, on top of that, there's effectively the same again bought in from global renewable sources. So a total of 6.5 megawatts. I wished it was 1.21 gigawatts. So yeah, that is good. My problem was I didn't see what percentage that is. We got a very, very loose statement on we're on track to hit 100% renewable by 2025.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Come on.
Yeah. So for a data-driven company, there's no data for us anyway. There may be data internally, but there's certainly no data that we can glean to understand where they're going and how they're getting there.
So this is about public perception, right? If you don't provide the data to back it up, people become skeptical and unnecessarily so. So we end up in this situation where you go out and you complain about this on Twitter and Amazonians come and defend it, quite rightly, because they know what's happening behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But we're living in a world of fake news and misinformation about a lot of things. So if you're going to make a statement like this, back it up, show us, let us see it, and we will get on board with it.
Yeah.
Like I say, the generating the power, I'm super, super happy with. I would like to see some data, please.
I've got a time for you.
Okay. Rant. Absolutely.
End rant.
Yeah. So one last bit though, Jason. I'm not ending yet. The why do I want this? So if I'm running a business and I want to be responsible for my carbon footprint, having that data, that metrics, that more transparency from Amazon would let me do that. Yeah. And even if I can't run in renewable regions such as Ireland, even if I can't use those EU West, etc., I could make a decision to say, support a charity that plants trees. For every so many customers I've got, I'm going to plant so many trees. I could do something about my carbon footprint. At the moment, I can't. Now, maybe we'll see some announcements about that later on. I don't know, but it'd be fantastic. Please, Amazon, get on and help support that. That'd be really, really great. Last bit about the keynote. This is how uneventful it was, basically. So last bit about the keynote, there was a section about water usage. Data center use a lot of water to cool down. And Amazon are saying that 96% of their wastewater from their data centers are reused, which is brilliant. Water management's a huge issue, especially when you talk about regions in South Africa. Yeah. You know this problem, Jason. Being from Joburg?
I was all over Johannesburg, a tiny little place called Springbok, and then Worcester, which is north of Cape Town. So, and Cape Town itself, yeah.
So water management, huge issues there. So Cape Town, where data centers been built, water management's really important. So what Amazon are saying are they treat the water before it goes in their data center, unlike lots of data centers. They treat it, so it's actually clean water at this point. And that means they can reuse that water 3 times through their systems without causing problems. So they're getting better efficiency in there and use of that cleaned water. But then the really interesting bit was they built some canals coming out the data center. So as the water pours out, it goes into these canals and it can be picked up by farmers.
Yeah.
You can then use it to irrigate fields.
Yeah.
Yet again, and this is only because of the transparency, I'd really like to see a statement from Amazon on this. I don't know which way it was. The marketing made it sound like they give this water to farmers.
Yeah, that's what they do, obviously.
I would love it if that's true. And if it is,
great.
Big props to Amazon.
Yeah.
Is there a cost involved in it? After all, everything's profit in this world, isn't it, at the moment? So yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more transparency around that. That's my only thing. I think the great work's being done. I've toned down my rant there. I love the approach, how it's different to other cloud providers rather than just carbon offsetting and buying off the grid and causing pinch points elsewhere. I really like it. Big props. But let's see a little bit more transparency. Just reassure us. That's all I'm asking for. Right. That rant's over. Hey, we're coming towards the end of the show as well, Jason.
Yeah, definitely.
So, let's just drop to a. I'm going to use my favourite.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
There we go. Right. One last reminder really is drop in, support the charity. Let's give some money. Let's make Christmas better for some people. I'd love to see you help and support on that. So URL's up on the screen again. It's going out on Twitter again. And we're also going to ask competition again out on Twitter. So I've put those out there.
Great.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Any closing thoughts, Jason? Anything you'd like to see next week in the keynotes at all? Simple session management sessions of things. Anything
really, apart from Werner, I haven't had a look at what's going on that time anyway. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully there's some good announcements. I'm really keen to find out how it's going to support, how AWS is going to support partners. Oh, good drop in there. In terms of helping us scale the tooling that we need, the tool sets that we need, all those sort of things, especially as resellers. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to anything that can help us around there. Or am I going to be disappointed? We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Big shout out to our sponsor, Do It International, who are sponsoring the prizes for the quiz. So thank you very much for supporting that. He doesn't know it yet, but we're going to ask Vadim, one of the founders of Do It International, to come on and do the Tinterviews on Tinternet next week. And we'd like to get some of his thoughts on what's happened in re:Invent so far. He's going to bring quite a unique view to it. He's very well versed in Google and the Google Cloud Platform as well. Yeah. He's also super technical on the AWS side. So I'd love to get some of his thoughts about how this changes the game slightly. For me, I think some of the infrastructure things are awesome. Graviton2 is a differentiator. I love it. I want a Graviton2 at home. That's my next Ash. So if Matt Wilson's watching this, can I have a Graviton2 at home, please? I'll look after it. Like
laptops.
Yeah, well, EU RIC 1. I'm happy to populate that this rack cabinet behind me here with Graviton2 processors rather than my 3D printer. EU RIC 1.
Local zone.
Yeah. Don't forget, Do It are giving prizes away. Use the hashtag AWS Consum. We'll pick someone at random for a prize, and we'll give that away. So thank you very much. Yeah, show us your mug. We'd love that. You don't have to, but we'd love to see your face and whatever vessel you are drinking from this morning. With that, I think we're wrapped up for this week, Jason.
I think so. No more talk about.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're watching later on, thank you for taking the time out to watch as well. It's been great having you here. Sorry there wasn't more to report. I think we got a lot of information out the blogs this week. So yeah, absolutely. And yeah, keep it up, Amazon. Thank you for doing some of the renewable stuff. Just give us a little bit more visibility to let us go in there and say, yeah, this is the right choice for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.